Here we are looking at another cervicogenic headache research study, the multicenter RCT comparing spinal manipulation combined with dry needling and E-stim with compared with exercise and non-thrust manipulation or mobilization. If you may notice that a lot of these same authors were on the 2016 article with it was very similar, except this one is adding dry needling. And so here the same primary endpoint of headache intensity was used. People had unilateral headaches, cervicogenic, classic there. You could read that if you need more information on that. They were excluded. If they had other types of headaches or red flags, any reason not to be treating in the manner that they could be treated in the study. All the PTs in this were either fellows in training or already fellows of through the American Academy of Manipulative Therapy Fellowship. That is an accredited fellowship that is very heavy in dry needling and thrust manipulation. The details, so the thrust manipulation and non-thrust, very similar to the 2016 study. You can look at that there. Thrust manipulation was upper cervical and upper thoracic. Non-thrust ended up being 3 sets of 30 seconds of non-thrust manipulation. And they targeted the upper cervical and upper thoracic, and then they could branch out from there if needed. And the dry needling, so here's and the exercise part was very similar to the Jules articles from the early Jules article from the early 2000 that I also have a video on. We're using biofeedback cups, looking at deep neck flexors. So the needling was 20 minutes in duration. Each session that they were there, 8 to 12 needles, upper cervical, occiput, upper thoracic, some in the face as well, based on the needs there. And it was 10 to 30 millimeters depth, depending on where they were targeting and the size of the person. And they did manipulate it, so they twisted it back and forth a little bit to elicit a deep ache or other types of sensation like tingling, pressure, heaviness, warmth. They were there for 20 minutes. And it was up to 8 needles that they could attach the stim to. So let's look at the results. Scroll down here. We can look at the graphs, but I find the numbers in here a little more important. So there was 74 and then thrust manipulation and needling group compared to the spinal mobilization and exercise group. Basically, if you want to compare this one to the 2016 one, for the spinal mobilization and exercise group, the results are very similar as they were in the 2016 one. 2021 results were a little bit more robust, as you may assume could be from the dry needling attached with E-stim. And the results in this group, the spinal manipulation group and needling group, were better than the spinal mobilization and exercise group. And if we look at the Grok global rating of change, it's 30 out of the 74 had moderate to large changes at 3 months, where only 15 out of the 68 had moderate to large changes in the comparator group, in the non-thrust spinal mobilization and exercise group. So does this mean that we should only be doing thrust manipulation and needling and never any of this? Probably not. This one does improve as well, but this one seems to improve more. And we're only looking up at 3 months. We don't know what it would be at 12 months. That'd be much more difficult to run an RCT, and it just really lengthens it out before they're able to publish the results. But you could make a case for combining these treatments, or at least combining aspects of them. But it's very clearly that the thrust manipulation and needling group in this study did outperform the non-thrust plus exercise. But we do find that some people's critiques of this, that the bias of the researchers is for the one that did play out better.